Once we're in Pittsburgh,
Then get out, quick.
after these couple of QTE events where we kill first the guy who attacks Joel, then the guy who attacks Ellie, we're going to be faced with 7 enemies. A wave of 4 and then a wave of 3. There's a number of ways to deal with them, and the most straightforward way is with guns. But obviously, if you're not comfortable with your shooting ability, then I can show you alternative ways. But we'll start with the way using guns, as it is by far the most reliable, because the 2 weapons I've got equipped, the rifle and the revolver, both kill any of these enemies in a single hit.
We're leaving.
So theoretically, even if we miss a shot or 2, doesn't matter. Now,
Stay down.
first with the revolver, we kill the guy with the hood who's coming towards us. I swap shoulders for the rifle because it makes it easier to hit the guy behind the car in the distance. Once we've killed all of these guys, first one we want to get is the shotgun guy, because he can kill us in 1 hit. And then we can kill the last one. Now I'm going to go over that again because there can be some variation to the order. But as a general rule, it will always be broadly the same order, but as you saw there, there's differences in terms of the aggressiveness of that 3rd guy that we killed. So it does take some work. The first guy approaching us should always die first. The reason that we switched to the rifle and shoulder swap is because the shoulder swap gives us a better vantage point of the second guy, and the rifle is steadier in Joel's hand when crouching even without upgrades, so it reduces weapon sway, making that second shot easier to hit. The 3rd guy, who pops around behind the overturned vending machine, can vary in his movements in how he tries to duck and weave you, but you should be able to hit him usually before the guy with the melee weapon comes around to flank you. But obviously if it takes a little time or you miss a couple of shots, be aware of the sound of the melee guy approaching so that you can hit him if you need to. And then, assuming they're all dead, you can then run up and shoot the last 3. Like I say, I focus on the shotgun guy first because his shots can kill you in 1 hit. Then the other guy with the gun, obviously, and then once they're both dead, you can simply charge at the other guy with the melee weapon, throw a bottle or a brick at him, and then whack him to the ground.
Watch out!
In the event that you don't feel comfortable about shooting, I'd still recommend shooting the first guy, and then moving around. Your shotgun may be better placed than your rifle in those circumstances. But using this kind of area as cover. And if you need to kill at a distance, use the revolver. If you need to kill close up, use the shotgun.
Go. Fade out.
And here again,
Behind the counter! You're dead, asshole!
you can target the shotgun guy when he appears. And then kill the last guy. Now, the order that they all come in there and when they will lose you obviously will vary
I think that's the last of them.
to a degree.
You okay?
It's just a case, so there's not like a hard and fast move here at this point and then move here. It's more a case of using the cover around this side to your advantage. Keeping a close eye on not only who's coming in from this point of view, but also from over here. And using throwables or the shotgun or the revolver as needed in order to take them all out. Once you are past Alone and Forsaken and through the garage, it's worth noting that there's a smoke bomb here that you can pick up. And there's also a smoke bomb in the hotel. One does not despawn if you pick up the other, so in essence, even without having to craft any, you get 2 smoke bombs, which can come in very handy for some of the strats that we are going to use further on in the game.
What?
Once you're on the motorway here, there will be 3 enemies who come over the bus. Now, the most straightforward and simple way to deal with them is to simply hide from them and let them go past. Which you can do...
Oh, good. Something else you can drive me crazy with.
By hiding behind the car that's closest to the barricade there and the truck. As that's fairly straightforward, I'm not going to show that here, but that's what you want to do if you don't feel confident in doing what I'm going to do next, which is to go at a full sprint.
Ellie, get down. Where did you learn to shoot? Man.
Climb the car.
Get him! Pay for that.
And kill all 3 with shotgun. Now, what happened to me where I took damage doesn't always happen, but it can occur where effectively one is behind the other, so is shielded from the shotgun blast. It shouldn't make any difference to anything going forward, but if it does, just make sure, because when they shoot you, you'll probably be knocked back off the car. Still shoot them as fast as you can. The shotgun does have a very slow fire rate, which is why he's able to get that shot off there, but even then, you can kill all 3 of them. And killing all 3 of them as fast as I did there also prevents the additional 2 from spawning, which might spawn if you tried to kill them from a distance and they alerted and came after you. So either wait them out behind the cars, or if you're going to kill them fast and close up with the shotgun. And then once you're in here in the bookstore, there are 2 ways through this that don't involve killing everyone, which both follow the same route. The route that I'm going to show you first is the stealthy route, whereby you immediately go to a crouch and go to the right. If you don't have a brick, you can pick one up here. And what you want to do is wait by this window for these guys to come in and then to separate. We're going to have to keep our eyes on different ones at different times. First of all, the guy in the red hoodie with the gas mask. We want to make sure that he's done a turn around to face us and then turned away again. Then we want to come over here. What we're making sure is that there's nobody in the window there, but also that the guy with the hoodie and the shotgun isn't seeing us. Then we can come over, grab him and strangle him. And then
God.
on the way, we can pick up a pipe. And we should be in time for this guy to just start examining these shelves so that we can come up and strangle him. And then up the stairs we can go to a jog until we are here where we want to keep an eye out. There's a guy with a shotgun we're looking out for, essentially. This angle here on the stairs should mean we can see him without him spotting us, unlike if we were to get closer. And once we know he's gone past and he's there, what we can do is sprint out and away.
Ellie, run! Don't lose him.
Now, if you want to get through that quicker, then what we'll be doing, instead of crouching like we did, is that we will be sprinting to the right as soon as we are able to move.
Yeah, me too. Just keep it down while we're going to this.
Equipping a brick. Then coming to this tipped over bookshelf. Ducking so we can brick that guy. Sprinting through. Stop sprinting at the bottom of the stairs. A quick watch out for where the shotgun guy is, because his position does vary upstairs. And then running. Now, obviously, that strategy is a lot riskier. It is possible to misjudge where the shotgun guy is and have him one-shot you dead. It is possible to take more damage than you might intend to, even if you survive. And yeah, it can go wrong. So that's generally only for speedruns, but I'm showing it for completeness because it can be done. But if you don't feel safe with doing that, if you've not practiced it a few times, or if you're not willing to risk the death, then the other strategy is the way to go. Once we're in the hotel, we want to get through these areas with minimal fuss, because there's a lot of guys with shotguns who can kill us easily. So there are two ways. The first way is to sneak through. And what we're going to do is we're going to come to this window and we're going to wait for these two who are having a conversation to both be facing away from us.
Check for what? I ain't seen a clicker in weeks.
That's because we're thorough. We're gonna keep being thorough.
Again, the usual rule of letting go of forward and X applies, so that they don't hear us vaulting over. Don't strangle that guy until the conversation is definitively finished. But when you have strangled him, you can then get up and jog out here. And we want to make sure we take this explosive, because we will need it. And then we're going to go up here. And now, while these three are having a conversation, that gives us time to craft our second nail bomb. So once this guy is close enough to lock on, we throw it, immediately get up and start jogging. Do not sprint, this is important. Even half a second of sprint will instantly alert his companions, but we can safely jog. up the stairs. Grab our second smoke bomb. And get in the lift. Alternatively, if we have the bow and arrow equipped, then we want to come out and we want to fire an arrow at the corner of the window about the sign says the word tourist.
Oh, shit. Get down,
Which should distract them long enough for us to go straight through here.
Close one.
Again, picking up the explosive on the way.
Yeah, I hear it too. All right. Search these rooms.
And then killing our final guy. Now, the next area can be pretty terrifying for a lot of people. It's one of the ones that people most often voice their fear of, but it is actually fairly straightforward. So what we're going to do, we're going to come in and go straight forward and then straight up this ramp next to the generator. We're not going to activate the generator yet. Pick up the brick that's here. Now, the stalkers in the area spawn in either when you try the door to exit or when you pick up the keycard. The way to avoid this is to pick up the keycard and then walk out of here backwards to the right so that you drop down the hole, to the left and backwards through the door again so that we can come straight to the generator. And then once we've pulled it, we are going to immediately sprint upstairs. So, to the left through this door, right up this ramp. We'll stop by this door. Bash that stalker with a brick. We've got our shotgun equipped just in case another one appears. We need to rattle this door. And then do the keycard the whole time, making sure that what's coming down, and then simply go through the door. Now, it's worth bearing in mind that you cannot go through the door
Not so much for that.
whilst there is a stalker in your close proximity, although you can go in while there's a bloater in the close proximity. So that's why we're keeping an eye out there. If a stalker had come before we had been able to try the door, we would have shotgunned it to kill it quickly and then gone out. If the bloater gets too close during this process, then the gap opposite the door, drop back down to the lower level, lower the bloater down, circle your way back around to try the door again. It's really that straightforward, and then you are out. Now, the next area, we have 4 humans to deal with. So I'm going to show you 2 ways to do that. Firstly, using guns. What we want is the rifle. And then immediately shoot the guy with the shotgun. Then there's a guy with a revolver who we can see whilst aiming at us, moving towards that same door. You want to get him while he starts running. Then we can get the guy with the baseball bat. The last guy hangs back, and his position, exact position, will vary, so we just need to see where he's loitering and get rid of him. In the event that you don't want to use ammo, then what we'll do here,
Finish it! I got it!
is we're going to wait for
You bet.
the guy with the shotgun to
Not today. You?
circle on his patrol in front of us.
All right. Spread out. Make sure we didn't miss any more of these fuckers.
And then he will end up facing away so that we can come along here. Spam triangle to grab. And strangle. The next enemy should come through this door. And then once we've got him, if we get spotted while strangling him, then we can still come along and get this bottle. The only one that will push is the guy with the baseball bat. But in this instance, we haven't been spotted. And so we can strangle our next target and then slip out. Keeping an eye on our last friend. And then we can simply batter him like this.
Take it easy, huh? Everything's cool, man.
Before we jump over into the financial district, I've got my bow equipped. And I have a throwable. These are the main things that we'll need to make sure we have in order for this strategy. As soon as we get control again, we are going around to the right.
Right, I would have done.
They're all dead! You're all fucking dead!
Staying crouched
What the hell's he yapping about? Take a breath. Who's dead?
The whole crew. The 76 lookout guy. Some fucking tourist killed him.
until we can go through this window.
You talk to the boss? Yeah.
And then we use this couch to keep ourselves hidden from the guy with the rifle. Until we can take him out. We've got a second or so to check if the arrow is still intact, if we want to retrieve it. And then we're waiting for the guy with the gas mask to pop out, pop back in. If we need it, there is a snack on this desk here. Then we want to grab him, drag him a little over here, and strangle him. Then we are taking out our throwable. And coming over here, we're trying to keep obstacles between ourselves and that guy as they come along, just so he doesn't see us.
What the hell was that?
And then the throwable will lure him. Now, in the event we don't want to use an arrow here, we can go over instead and strangle him if our arrows are in limited supply. It's just slightly quicker to do it with an arrow. In either way, case, once he's dead, smash this car window. And then that lures the next guy over. That should allow us to grab him.
Take it easy.
He can vary his route slightly in terms of where he goes around the car, so you may need to just finesse that a little bit. But either way, it should be fairly straightforward to grab him and kill him, and then plant a nail bomb just like so. In the event that you don't have 2 nail bombs, there are different ways to deal with the end of the strat. I would recommend that if you've only got 1 nail bomb, you always put it in the position where I put the first one. Once this guy is outside and looking at the flowers, we can go behind him, drag him inside and strangle him. Sometimes we have to wait a couple of seconds for him to appear, sometimes we don't. On our way over here, we can grab a bottle. And then if we throw that,
Fuck was that?
should lure this guy inside. Where we can strangle him. It is possible to stealth kill him outside, but the enemies who react to his body change their patterns as a result, so we don't want to do that. Once he's dead, we're free to sprint along this half of the map. So we're going to go back to the beginning. Pick up a brick. Throw the second nail bomb at the broken barricade board. And then, keeping to the left, come up here with our rifle equipped. Loudly kill the guy inside here. And then duck to a crouch here. And ready a Molotov. Now, the ideal is that we get 4. Out of 5. And then just whichever one is left unscathed or putting himself out, you shoot.
All right, come on down.
And there you go. A couple of notes on that.
Now, the safety
just
zone,
for
Do you know how to switch it
details
I
of
do.
finesse.
You just
First of all,
gotta respect it. This is not good.
Joel, I'll be careful.
depending on how fast or slow you do each kill, where people are in their patrols will vary. When you're coming up to kill this guy, for instance, he might be over here preparing to come back. He might be coming down towards here. So that's why we kind of hug towards the left here when coming up so that we can't be spotted by him, whichever position he's in. And then once we know where he is, we can simply take out the rifle and take a shot as we need to. If you planted both nail bombs, by the way, you will get an extra Molotov there from the enemies that are killed by that nail bomb. There are also a couple of times that when you kill the enemy who's up here before you sprint back down to the beginning, if he alerts to you, and you're quick enough, you can kill him loudly with a melee weapon without anyone else alerting. The same is true of the one you kill after you smash the car window. It all depends on the context and making sure there's not any other enemies around. Obviously, it's ideal that that doesn't happen so that you don't have to worry about it. But in the instance that something goes wrong where they spot you too quick, you can react and whack them with a stick if you need to. But that's the general path of that strat. And the only other thing to mention is if it goes wrong at any point and you do alert before you've been able to plant bombs or before you've been able to finish it, then coming up here and coming into this room is your best bet at a defense. So this desk here provides a good vantage point to see people coming from either side and to take them by surprise, particularly if you have a shotgun ready to blast them. Or you can ring around the tables if there's only one. Equally, if you have a nail bomb to spare, say if you hadn't planted both of them yet, you can plant one there and then hide kind of here. So then if any of them climb up to that side to try and flank you, they'll blow up. Most of them will come this way and you can either shoot them as they come, or if you're loud here and they don't know where you are, if you hold here, when they jump over, as long as you're masked in triangle and they're not exactly aware of your position already, then you can grab them and strangle them from kind of the vantage point of hiding in this corner. So there are a few defensive options if the strat goes wrong. Equally, if the strat doesn't go wrong but you don't have enough supplies, say you've only got one nail bomb, like I say, plant it on that side as that will kill more enemies, and then do everything else the same, and the 3 enemies from there will still be alive once you've mollied the ones over here. And then all you have to do is either retreat up here, give yourself a safe vantage to take on the last 3 enemies, or if you're feeling confident enough, turn around and shoot them if you know their positions. That accounts for most kind of variations on this. And I am going to leave my older tutorial on this area, which covers the strat that involves going straight to this room up, just so you can see how I did that. I do think that's outdated because I think the strat that I've just outlined is far better, but it's useful to have it there in case something goes wrong. So that video will be up repurposed as a kind of supplemental tutorial. In the next area after the first truck cutscenes, there are 2 enemies, one with a rifle and one with a melee weapon. Now, if you don't want to bother with fighting them, you can simply hide in this corner until they're gone past and safely wait them out. However, you can just as easily one-shot the first one and then brick and pipe hit the second, and you get a replacement pipe and brick in this area anyway, not to mention a health. Now, in Liberty Avenue, the way that I'm going to show doing this is fast and stealthy, and requires very few resources. So there's a little bit of finesse to it, which I will talk through as we do it, but it's fairly straightforward on the whole, and a lot safer than most other strategies. Now, what I'll tend to do here is not hold sprint until I'm getting close to this van, just so that I have full sprint for when I need it. Once the dialogue starts, we should be able to go into a full sprint to the right of the police car, straight up the stairs, turning and crouching just before the top of the stairs so that this guy with the shotgun doesn't even notice we're there before we grab him. Once we're crouching, we're mashing triangle straight away to go to him. And then immediately we can come out through the doorway and crouch walk, hugging to the right. And as we get to this desk, mash triangle, turn the guy around so he's facing towards the window, so we know where the other guy is. Again, mash triangle and strangle. And then making sure that we have the bow and arrow equipped. Sprinting straight down the stairs. Immediately to the right. Vault this barrier. And then go straight into a crouch. And then once we're behind cover of the tank,
Whoever was in that pickup truck.
aim and draw the bow.
Goddamn mess.
Shoot that guy as soon as he comes into view. And then we want to throw
Hey, how long are we supposed to stand
the
here with our
brick.
dicks in our hands?
I don't know. Hey, you hear that?
Now, it's difficult to get the brick throw right. As we saw then, we alerted. But we were able to deal with it quite fast. The ideal is that we were able to take both of them out with bow and arrow before they alert, and then we can just stealth kill this guy. But if that's not the case, it's not the end of the world. If you don't feel confident getting the guy with the rifle with the bow and arrow whilst he's still aiming, then at that point, when he's alerting on you, you can obviously switch to your revolver and shoot him with that.
Endure and survive.
Excuse me?
Savage
But
Slowly.
that's kind of a worst case scenario with that version of the strat.
That's what the hero says after a big battle.
Like I say, in most cases, if depending on the throw, and the throw is tough to get, you need to get it so it's far enough. It interrupts the conversation and ideally puts them looking in a direction not related to where you are, so that you can safely shoot both of them before either of them alerts. It just so happened that I didn't quite get the throw right at that point. Now, just to run through this one more time, just so you can see just how consistent it is.
Hey, you hear they finally caught the guy and his girl?
Who's left then? Just the guy and the kid, right?
Yeah, them and whoever was in that pickup truck. It's a goddamn mess.
Hey, how long are we supposed to stand here with our dicks in our hands?
Shit, did you hear that? God, I don't see it.
Where'd you go?
Let's just be cool, man. Take it easy, all right?
For the final area of the financial district, first of all, I'm going to show you the safe way through it, and then I'll show you the quick way through it. In practice, both have got their own risks just because of how unreliable the truck can be. But we'll talk through that as we kind of face it. So first of all, I'm coming straight up to the end here where we can strangle this guy with his hood up. And then we want to kill the two guys in there. Mainly the one with the shotgun. Because obviously if he follows us across the road, catches us off guard, we are dead. Now there's multiple ways you can do this, but the way kind of I found easiest in terms of being able to see where he is and always get a shot on him is to use the revolver and do it there. And then jump out the window.
What the fuck are they shooting at us with?
Some kind of military
So
turret.
that-
Stay down.
When the turret has stopped shooting, the other enemy will come up. There's another brick here if we need it. After we've bricked and bottled that guy. And there's even an updated pipe so that we get one of that's a full durability. Then we can come over here and run and duck by this police car. And generally there's a gap that we can run through after the turret has fired 3 bursts of rounds. And then once we're in here, staying crouched with our shotgun out, we simply take out that guy and then that guy. We did take damage there, but it's not really too much of a bother. Sometimes we can get away without taking damage. Sometimes you take damage even when you're behind cover, which is why I say even the supposed safe strat can be unreliable. And we have to heal there. If you want to be ultra safe, it's waiting for the gap between bursts. The problem we have is that once we're over here, the turret will sometimes fire 3 bursts and it'll sometimes fire 2 bursts. So you have to kind of determine which it's going for and make your move accordingly. So there it looks like 3. Then around here we brick that guy.
Keep an eye out.
Got it.
Then aim and shoot at that guy. And then if we come back here, we draw the truck back, which then allows us to sprint around here and minimize the risk of getting hit as we make our escape. Now, it's possible to do all of that without any damage, so you don't have to heal like I did. I'll say you will. The difficulty you will find is that sometimes there'll be damage taken even when it feels like there shouldn't be. Like, so you feel like you're behind cover and it'll still manage to shoot you, and it can be unreliable, or you think it's shooting 3 bursts and after the 3rd burst it changes to 2 to try and trick you, so you're not actually safe to go when you think you are. Various things like that. So it can be very slow going, working out exactly what the safest way to deal with it is. If that seems like too much of a hassle, then there is a fast way through, which will generally lead to taking damage, but only a minimal amount. So what we're going to do is we're going to equip a smoke bomb, and we're going to sprint up to a point from which we will jog. When we're jogging, we will throw this smoke bomb through a window at a corner of a wall, where it should land and not only stun both of the enemies that are nearby, but also leave a smoke cloud, which means that the turret will not fire. That then allows us to sprint across the road, brick the enemy that's over the road, jump out the window, pick up another bottle, and brick a second enemy around the back of the building, and then make our escape. So I'm going to show this in one movement.
Let's go through the alley.
Oh, it's that fucking truck.
It's all right. Just keep your head down.
6.
Nope.
7. 10.
Get away from him!
Now, as it happened, we didn't take any damage there. That was quite lucky, but even if we do take damage, most of the time it's minimal. But what we're doing when we're taking that journey, if I can show you from the back, is first of all, we're doing the quick pickup to pick up the bottle once we've jumped out the window, which is where we switch from our pistol to our long gun, and as we do so, we press to pick up the bottle, which means we don't get the slow down crouch animation for it. We use that bottle to stun the guy who runs at us in the alley, and then as we come round, the guy who takes cover here, we're kind of hidden from him by the wall until we come out, and then we veer towards him in an arc before veering back towards the door. And the reason that we do that is because it makes it less likely that he's going to shoot us because we're coming closer to him, and it also reduces the likelihood of us getting hit a second time.
Through the alley.
Oh, it's that fucking truck.
It's all right. Just keep your head down.
6.
Nope.
7. 10.
Run!
So here's where we brick this enemy. We got our rifle equipped. Switch to a shotgun in order to pick up the bottle. We did take damage there this time. That's more likely. Hug the wall and then curve around and escape there. Now, there is a slight chance when you're doing this that Ellie can get grabbed by the guy that you've stunned and become plus sign. If that happens, carry on running because it will cancel itself out once you get up here and the enemies despawn. We did in that instance see this guy get up to shoot us, although he missed. That's extremely rare. In fact, I've never seen that happen before. It seems to be a rule of recording tutorials that that's the one time when you will see things that otherwise you never see when you do the strat 1,000 times. But yeah, that's generally everything you need to know about the nuances of that strat. Now, although I did take more damage doing the quote-unquote safe strat than the unsafe strat, that's not to say that that's a universal rule. It's absolutely not. You can go through with the safe strat with no damage if you're a little bit more careful than I was. Move a little bit more slower in certain areas. Be a little bit more mindful when counting how many shots the turret has fired off. Equally, it is possible to get red screened in the speed strat that I've just shown. If you've got the resources to heal, that shouldn't matter. But obviously, if you don't have those resources, then that's a calculation you might want to make. But either way, those are both the strats in that situation that should allow you to make a decision on in terms of where you want to go, in terms of what strategy you want to employ in this area. And with that, we are out of the financial district and go to meet Henry and Sam. If you enjoyed this video, then give it a like and consider subscribing to keep up to date with all my content. Like the video that's just popped up, which YouTube thinks you should watch next. This is a Patreon and member supported channel, so if you want to become a member and unlock custom badges and emojis, early access to my videos, and your name in the credits, then click the join button below. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.